The Fisherman and His Soul by Oscar Wilde, Part 6. And in the first chamber I saw an idol seated on a throne of jasper, bordered with great orient pearls. It was carved out of ebony, and its stature was of the stature of a man. On its forehead was a ruby, and thick oil dripped from its hair on to his thighs. Its feet were red with the blood of a newly slain kid, and its loins girt with a copper belt that was studded with 7 beryls. And I said to the priest, "Is this the god?" And he answered me, "This is the god." "Show me the god," I cried, "or I will surely slay thee." And I touched his hand, and it became withered. And the priest besought me, saying, "Let my lord heal his servant, and I will show you him the Lord." So I breathed with my breath upon his hand, and it became whole again. And he trembled, and led me into the second chamber, and I saw an idol standing on a lotus of jade, hung with great emeralds. It was carved out of ivory, and in stature was twice the stature of a man. On its forehead was a chrysolite, and its breast was smeared with myrrh and cinnamon. In one hand it held a crooked spectre of jade, and in the other a round crystal. It wore buskins of brass, and its thick neck was circled with a circle of selenites. And I said to the priest, "Is this the god?" And he answered me, "This is the god." "Show me the god," I cried, "or I will surely slay thee." And I touched his eyes, and they became blind. And the priest besought me, saying, "Let my lord heal his servant, and I will show him the god." So I breathed with my breath upon his eyes, and the sight came back to them. And he trembled again, and led me into the third chamber, and lo, there was no idol in it, nor image of any kind, but only a mirror of round metal set on an altar of stone. And I said to the priest, "Where is the god?" And he answered me, "There is no god, but this mirror that thou seest, for this is the mirror of wisdom, and it reflecteth all things that are in heaven and on earth, save only the face of him who looketh into it. This is reflected not, so that he who looketh into it may be wise. Many other mirrors are there, but they are mirrors of opinion. This only is the mirror of wisdom, and they who possess this mirror know everything, nor is there anything hidden from them, and they who possess it have not wisdom. Therefore it is the god, and we worship it." And I looked into the mirror, and it was even as he had said to me. And I did a strange thing, but what I did matters not. For in a valley that is but a day's journey from this place have I hidden the mirror of wisdom. Do but suffer me to enter into thee again, and be thy servant, and thou shalt be wiser than all the wise men, and wisdom shall be thine. Suffer me to enter into thee, and none will be as wise as thou." But the young fisherman laughed. "Love is better than wisdom," he cried, "and the little mermaid loves me." "Nay, but there is nothing better than wisdom," said the soul. "Love is better," answered the young fisherman, and he plunged into the deep, and the soul went weeping away over the marshes. And after the second year was over, the soul came down to the shore of the sea, and called to the young fisherman, and he rose out of the deep, and said, "Why dost thou call to me?" And the soul answered, "Come nearer, that I may speak with thee, for I have seen marvelous things." So he came nearer, and couched in the shallow water, and leaned his head upon his hand, and listened. And the soul said to him, "When I left thee, I turned my face to the south, and journeyed. From the south cometh everything that is precious. 6 days I journeyed along the highways that led to the city of Ashtar, along the dusty red-eyed highways by which the pilgrims are wont to go, but did I journey. And on the morning of the 7th day I lifted up my eyes, and lo, the city lay at my feet, for it is in a valley. There are 9 gates to the city, and in front of each gate stands a bronze horse that neighs when the Bedouins come down from the mountains. The walls are cased with copper, and the watchtowers and the walls are roofed with brass. In every tower stands an archer with a bow in his hand. At sunrise he strikes with an arrow on a gong, and at sunset he blows through a horn of horn. When I sought to enter, the guard stopped me and asked of me who I was. I made answer that I was a dervish, and on my way to the city of Mecca, where there was a green veil on which the Quran was embroidered in silver letters by the hands of the angels. They were filled with wonder and entreated me to pass in. Inside it is even as a bazaar. Surely thou shouldest come with me. Across the narrow streets, the gay lanterns of paper flutter like large butterflies. When the wind blows over the roofs, they rise and fall as painted bubbles do. In front of their booths sit the merchants on silken carpets. They have straight black beards, and their turbans are covered with golden sequins, and long strings of amber and carved peach stones glide through their cool fingers. Some of them sell galnamun and nard and curious perfumes from the islands of the Indian Sea, and the thick oil of red roses and myrrh and little nail-shaped cloves. When one stops to speak to them, they throw pinches of frankincense upon a charcoal brazier and make the air sweet. I saw a Syrian who held in his hands a thin rod with a reed. Great threads of smoke came from it, and its odor as it burned was as the odor of the pink almond in spring. Others sell silver bracelets embossed all over with creamy blue turquoise stones, and anklets of brass wire fringed with little pearls, and tigers' claws set in gold, and the claws of that gilt cat, the leopard, set in gold also, and earrings of pierced emerald, and finger-rings of hollowed jade. From the tea-houses comes the house of the guitar, and the opium smokers with their white, smiling faces look out at the passers-by. Of the truth thou shouldest have been with me. The wine-sellers elbow their way through the crowd with the great black skins on their shoulders. Most of them sell the wine of Shiraz, which is as sweet as honey. They serve it in the little metal cups and strew rose leaves upon it. In the market-place stand the fruit-sellers, who sell all kinds of fruit, ripe figs with their bruised purple flesh, melons smelling of musk and yellow as topazes, citrons and rose-apples and clusters of white grapes, round red gold oranges, and oval lemons of green gold. Once I saw an elephant go by. Its trunk was painted with vermilion and turmeric, and over its ears it had a net of crimson silk cord. It stopped opposite one of the booths and began eating the oranges, and the man only laughed. Thou canst not think how strange a people they are.